There is a ton of data available on the internet. You can find tables on Wikipedia, you can find tables on news articles, you can find tables of data all sorts of places. I need a nice tool to grab it from a website as opposed to some sort of nice comma separated values or Excel file that your professor kindly gives you. The real world is messy, and sometimes the real world means I have to scrape data off of the internet. I should say, however, that scraping data off the internet is sort of the worst way to get data. The internet is a constantly changing place, and anytime I write a script that gathers data from a website, I'm at risk of that website changing and breaking my script. So what we're about to talk about right now is the last case scenario of if you can't get the data any other way, this is one way to get it off the internet. Web pages are written in a markup language called HTML. And what HTML is a text document that has both your user created content and some very clear descriptions about how to display that content. For example, this simple HTML document has these HTML tags. So you can see this title, some content, and then this little forward slash in title, and this closes this. And so what happens is this title and in title makes a element of the HTML document that your browser will know, oh, this chunk in the middle is the page title. Likewise, down in the body of the document, you see this opening and closing header tags, which define a header for a paragraph. So these angle brackets that open and close a HTML element are really important for telling your browser how to display this. If I can teach R how to find tables and information within an HTML document, I can rip it out. There are two main types of HTML objects that we're going to be interested in being able to pull. First off are tables. A table starts with a table tag and ends with an end table tag. Inside represents these table rows, and here we have table headings, and then we have another table row followed by a table datum cell. So these TDs represent cells within our table. And we can have as many rows as we want. The second thing that we want to look at are lists. The HTML tag UL represents an unordered list, and the LI represents a list item. And using these tags, we can create a list in HTML. Unfortunately, I can't just go in and grab the information out of the source code for the HTML for a web page because the web page is way too complicated. At this point, to build a very distinct looking website, this is the type of information that you see in a website. It is unreadable by anything other than a computer. We're going to use a package called rvest to help harvest the information from web pages. The idea is that we're going to have a couple of functions that will do a few things for us. In particular, we'll have a function that will go to the website and grab the raw HTML. We'll have a function that parses through that raw HTML for some sort of HTML tag. We will then convert the tagged data to either text or numeric, and then that's how we're going to get our data. But this package rvest is going to do most of the text processing for us. The hardest part about scraping data from the web is figuring out what HTML tags will distinguish the stuff that you want. There's a great tool to make this easier, and it's called Selector Gadget. And in order to install this is just a JavaScript command that will call a web page. So the way you install this on your web browser is you just take this little JavaScript function and drag it up to your bookmarks page. And now when you want to start it, you can just click on this. So as an example, we're going to look at the Imdb web page for Westworld. And in particular, what I want to do is I want to grab the list of the cast members. So I want to grab all of the actors and actresses that were in this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up Selector Gadget. And right now we've got this thing down at the bottom that is giving me the HTML tags. So to start with, we are going to select something that I want to be part of the stuff that we grab. And what's now highlighted here is what I selected, and the yellow is stuff that matches, that Selector Gadget thinks, oh, you selected this, here's maybe what you were thinking of. Now, everything in yellow is what is going to be selected, but I don't want this stuff over here, so I'm going to get rid of that. Down here, there is some other stuff, and I don't want that. And in this case, I'm going to look just for the actors and actresses, not their roles, so I'm going to get rid of this. So now we've got a list of all of the actresses and actors. So this stuff in yellow is highlighted. Everything in red is stuff that I deliberately deselected. The stuff in green is stuff that I deliberately wanted and is selected. So green and yellow is what's going to come out of this HTML tag down here. So we're going to go and copy this HTML tag, and now we're going to look at using our rvest package to grab this. All right, back in our studio, we are first going to ask rvest to read in the web page from where we just were at Imdb. So we'll do this. Now, next, we're going to read in the HTML nodes. Now, this thing right here is what Selector Gadget told me would give me all of my actors. So I'm going to execute this, and this will go into the HTML, grab out anything that has this tag, and it's going to turn it into something called an HTML node. And this has a bunch of information about this. So I'm going to go ahead and look at, say, the first 4 of these. And what we can see is that we have some HTML stuff here. This is actually a link to information about Evan Wood. And then we've got this closing in bracket. So if you were to click on this on the web page, this would actually take you somewhere else. So we're going to turn the HTML into just the Evan Wood's information. So let's go ahead and grab this. And so that will parse the HTML into just the actors and actors' names. And there we have a vector of 15 actor names. Unfortunately, it's not always that easy. Next, we'll consider grabbing all of this information, so not only the actor and actress's names, but also their roles and what episodes they ended in. So we're going to start up Selector Gadget again. Again, I'm going to click the people that I want, or the information that I want. I don't want this stuff, and I don't want this stuff, and I do want this. So now we've got this information, and that is what we want. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over and take this cat list A, and that's going to be what we search on. All right, so now we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to grab the cat list A information, so whatever HTML nodes that grabs me, and then I'm going to go ahead and look at this. So I'm going to look at the first 8 of these and notice some information. First off, we've got some information about Evan Rachel Wood. So there's this first one. That actually is her picture. Then we get her name, her role, and then her episodes that she was in. Then we get the next actor. So the first 4 rows constitute information about the first actor. Or actress, excuse me. Unfortunately, this is going to be kind of annoying because I can't turn this into an HTML table because these things aren't table data. And so I have to take my text information and then fix it and make it into a data set that I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the following. I'm first going to set up a data set where the first 4 rows are for the actor 1, then actor 2. Now this first space is going to represent where their picture is, then their name, their role, and their episodes. Then we're going to go on to the next actor, and there's going to be a space for their picture, then their name, their role, and what episodes they're in. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to join that data set that I just built with the actual value of the actors that I just downloaded. And now we see that we have a space, the actor's name or actress's name, her character, episodes, space, actress's name, character, episodes, etc. Cool. So now all we need to do is we need to pivot from a long data set to a wide data set. Excellent. And now we have the actresses, her episodes, and her role. And I'm going to reorder those and get rid of the row ID and the space for their picture. And now I've got a data set that is exactly what I want. So unfortunately, when scraping data, oftentimes I have to do some data manipulation to get it into a nice clean format, because the way it exists inside my web page isn't necessarily convenient for the way that I want it to store it in R. Websites like Imdb make their profit by selling access to the information that they've compiled, and they make their money by selling advertising or other types of things. Imdb will actually make it relatively difficult to scrape the information off their website. Furthermore, what we've just done is actually against their terms of service. You can see that they actively prohibit screen scraping and data gathering using the tools that we've worked with today. So as a result, scraping information off of the web is sort of my last ditch thing that I will do if I need to grab data. Ideally, I would like to access data through some sort of standardized methodology that will not be changing and is approved by the owner of that data.